Hey everyone, so I wanted to do this video guide on how you can remove a bankruptcy from your credit report. Now I know that there's a lot of videos out there that claim to be the right way to remove a bankruptcy from your credit report, but go ahead and do me a huge favor and unfollow those guys if they're not telling you what I'm telling you. Because everything I'm going to tell you is things that you can double check, factual check, do a Google research. It's very basic, right? Now let's just start with the basics. So a bankruptcy will be deleted automatically from your credit report in either 7 or 10 years from the date you filed that bankruptcy, depending on what chapter you filed. So, for example, Chapter 7 bankruptcy will be deleted in 10 years because in this case, none of the debt was repaid. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy is cleared in 7 years since some of the debt is partially repaid, right? Because you reorganize that debt. Now, some so-called experts would tell you it's impossible or it's close to impossible to do absent some fraud. Like, for example, someone filed bankruptcy without your permission. Others will tell you that there's some secret procedure that you must follow, some complex and inordinate procedure. None of this, honestly, is true. It's actually simple in some circumstances, and in other circumstances, it's a bit difficult. But first, let's just go over the basics, right? So the basics. Let's start with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is the FCRA. The FCRA, as most of you know, is a federal law that regulates the credit reporting agencies and compels them to ensure the information they gather and distribute is fair and accurate. A summary of a consumer's credit history. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, credit bureaus must investigate inaccurate, outdated, and unfair items on a consumer's credit report. A majority of bankruptcies are reported inaccurately, which allows us to dispute them for you or allows you to do it yourself, right? So we have different ways that you can do it yourself. We offer several platforms, which I'll discuss in other videos. When you dispute a bankruptcy for the first time, in most circumstances, except in rare circumstances, it'll come back as verified by the credit bureaus. They then send you a generic form which tells you to contact the courthouse. And when you do contact the courthouse, they'll send you a letter that says it's their policy not to report their bankruptcy to the credit bureaus, nor is it their policies to order them to remove it from the credit reports, right? Kind of leaves you in a catch-22. So I'm going to read you a quote. Let me pull it up here. I'll read you a quote from the Bankruptcy Court website, and I'll even post the link so you can read it for yourself. It states, "The Bankruptcy Court has no jurisdiction over credit reporting agencies and does not report to any of the agencies. The bankruptcy petitions, schedules, and other documents are public record. Credit reporting agencies regularly collect information from cases filed and report the information on their credit reporting service." Unquote. Now, don't ask me why, because honestly, I'm not sure. But Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian make it super difficult for consumers when trying to dispute a bankruptcy. Instead of just giving the consumers the direct information as to who's reporting this information to the credit bureaus, they make you waste so much time by kind of going back and forth and jumping through a million hoops with them until they finally relent and provide you with the correct agency that's reporting this information to the credit bureaus. So it's weird, I know, but it's just unfortunately the way the cookie crumbles, right? Now, the contact information to who actually report this information to the credit bureaus on your credit report is, for example, Equifax gets the bankruptcy information from a company called LexisNexis. So does Experian. The contact information can be found on the blog link in this video. TransUnion, however, gets its bankruptcy information from a company called LCI. The contact information can also be found on the blog link in this video. Now, the information should be disputed with these companies after and only after they are verified with the credit bureaus, but never at the same time. When disputing this information, you want to ensure that you send a dispute letter, certified mail, return receipt requested. This certified mail ensures that they obey the 30-day rule outlined in the FCRA. After disputing with the companies listed in the blog that I'm going to post, your chances of getting the bankruptcy removed increases by about 30%. They may return with a letter stating that the bankruptcy is valid, but that's when you hit them with a rebuttal. You should always hit them with a rebuttal. Like, for example, how was the information verified? Provide me with how you figured out that this was my bankruptcy and not somebody with a similar name or a family member. Or you could say the public information does not pertain to me, so stop reporting this information to the credit bureaus. Now remember, keep in mind that every rebuttal or response letter will be different depending on what's initially said at first, meaning your first verification letter. You would then respond to that letter accordingly. Now, this will prompt them on sending you a copy of a docket from the federal court system called Public Access to Court Electronic Records, called PACER, right? This, however, is not sufficient legal proof under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, because obviously the record exists, but what must be done is this record must be proven to be yours. The best way to do that would be for the social security number and the date of birth to match. And you might think that this is easy, but it's not. In fact, it's impossible. This is where I tell you guys it may come in, it may be easy or it may be hard. But Rule 9037 of the federal bankruptcy rules is what's in play. So Rule 9037 of the Federal Rules of Bankruptcy Procedures went into effect on December the 1st, 2007. It was adopted in compliance with Section 205C3 of the E-Government Act of 2002. Rule 9037 addresses privacy and security concerns arising from the filing of public documents, whether electronically or in paper format. In a bankruptcy case, specifically, Rule 9037 requires the redaction of specific identifiable information. For example, social security numbers, tax ID numbers, names of minor children, financial account numbers, dates of birth from unsealed documents filed with the court, as well as other private sensitive identified information by the court for cause, right? So what this means is that when you file bankruptcy, yes, you must put your social security number on the bankruptcy forms, but that information is not public. So how do they know that it's yours? To address this privacy concern resulting from public access to electronic cases, the federal rule of bankruptcy procedure requires that certain personal identifiable information be redacted from documents filed with the court. So filings that contain an individual's social security number, taxpayer identification number, or date of birth, the name of a minor, or financial account numbers, the rule only says it may only include the last four digits of the social security number and tax identification number, right? The year of the individual's birth, the minor's initials, and the last four digits of the financial account number. That's it. This literally makes it impossible for them to say with certainty that the bankruptcy is in fact yours. Once they're unable to verify the bankruptcy belongs to you, they must then remove the information, like the bankruptcy, from your credit report. So let's break this down into step-by-step directions on removing the bankruptcy from your credit report, right? So step one, you're going to write a dispute letter to the credit bureaus. Do not use their online dispute process. Do not at all. Just write a letter. Step two, respond to whatever verification they send you. In most cases, you might need an expert to tell you how to properly respond, but you want to make sure that you are responding properly. The best case, best case scenario, they'll be able to verify the bankruptcy and remove it. So you skip everything else, you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. If not, then you move to step three. If the bankruptcy is verified, you want to proceed with a procedural letter asking them to tell you what steps were taken to verify the bankruptcy, who did they verify it with. As stated above, they'll say it was verified with the bankruptcy court. But keep in mind that it is the policy of the bankruptcy court not to report any information to the credit bureaus. That's LCI and LexisNexis who's reporting it. You want to make copies of this letter from the credit bureaus claiming that it was verified with the court. Step four, as you probably guessed it, write a letter to the court asking them how they verified the information with the credit bureaus. Ensure that when you send them the letter, you send them a copy of the letter from the credit bureaus that they sent you showing that they claim to have verified this information with the court. In addition to sending this letter, you want to ensure that you CC the president judge of that court. So Google can help you out with who the president judge is for whatever bankruptcy court you file bankruptcy in, whether it's the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, Western District of California, whatever. This letter is very important, so you make sure you send both copies to the court and the president judge, certified mail, return receipt requested. The court will respond and tell you that it is not their policy to report anything to the credit bureaus. This is going to take you, obviously, to step five. Step 5, take this letter from the bankruptcy court, send it to the credit bureau, again, certified mail return receipt requested, and title this letter intent to sue. State on the letter that you demand that they remove the bankruptcy since they willfully and knowingly provided you with false information regarding how the information was verified, and therefore are in violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It is a must that you put this information and those words in it, intent to sue. Ensure that you tell them that they have 30 days to remove the bankruptcy from your credit report, or you will file a lawsuit with the federal district court in your area. Step 6, if all else fails, contact Credilosity. We'll remove the bankruptcy for you. But it shouldn't fail, right? Because this is literally a step-by-step process, right? I'm also going to attach like an ebook or maybe an instruction manual within the blog, so that way you guys are able to kind of do it yourself. Now, if you can't do it yourself, you don't have the time to do it yourself, you may want to contact us to buy our template letters. You may want to use our DIY platform where you can kind of order your credit report and use different templates that we have in our DIY platform, or go for the full service credit repair service from us. We want to make sure that we get these bankruptcies removed, because we know that using Rule 9037 and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it's impossible, right, for them to be able to say that this bankruptcy is yours. So follow us for more tips and tricks, more guides. Please like this video, share it, send it to anybody you know who may have a bankruptcy or who's struggling with anything on their credit, and hopefully we can, eradicate all these bankruptcies from your credit report. Thanks, guys. Bye.